I'm like sweating. Is anyone hot?
Hi there, my name is Matt Cole. I'm the producer of the Earprov podcast, and we have a special treat for you listeners out there. We have something that's a little not improv, a little that is improv. Welcome to the show, Faces for Radio.
Hey.
So, let's see. I saw these guys. They performed at the Push Comedy Theater for the first time during Sketchmageddon at the Push Comedy Theater in Norfolk, Virginia. Go around the table and introduce yourselves and what you do in the Faces for Radio.
Are you done? Hi. My name is
You're fired.
Hillary Stallings. I am one of the faces in Faces for Radio. I am one of the character actors. One of the two.
And sorry, I did want to also introduce the show. What is Faces for Radio, Hillary?
Oh, so it is a live radio play. Scott, feel free to interject here.
No, you're doing just fine.
Okay. It premiered at Sketchmageddon in July 2019. Just in case anyone's listening to this from the future.
I think everybody is. That's how podcasts work. All right, let's go over here.
I'm Lindsay Horn. I do all of
Hey.
Hey,
Get
I'm not a
your
face.
face closer. There you go. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm all of the sound effects in Faces for Radio.
Excellent. And who we got last but not least?
And I'm Scott Rose. I'm also one of the faces in Faces for Radio. I do the vocal work like Hillary does.
Nice. And so, like Hillary was saying, the Faces for Radio is kind of at its basis, and then I want you guys to talk about it, a radio play. And you did it live a couple times for a studio audience at Sketchmageddon. What else? What else is Faces for Radio about?
Well, the general premise is Scott and I play a married couple.
Okay.
And our names are Scott and Hillary, as in real life.
That's good writing right there.
But Scott is very gay. And I
Also not true.
Real.
Also very real. And I, as his wife, have absolutely no idea that he is gay. And it's set kind of in this like weird 1950s alternate reality.
Nice.
So it's kind of episodic. So
And Hillary is very naive as a character. So we're stretching a lot with our character here. I'm playing a homosexual and Hillary's playing somebody who's entirely naive. Yeah.
I'm baffled the whole time.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
really not true.
The big thing from it, though, Hillary and I started talking about this last year in like November of last year because it was something that I wanted to do, and definitely wanted to do it with Hillary. But I had been obsessed with the George Burns and Gracie Allen TV show.
Nice.
And then I had come across their radio show, which I knew I listened to when I was a kid, but I was much more into the TV show. And so we sat down and we were talking about it. But the big thing that I loved about it is something like in the 40s and the 50s. I thought it was really awesome that even though there's this, and they were a real life couple as well, obviously. But
you
as
say
are
as well.
Scott and I.
yeah, we're together. We're together.
You're gay?
No, not right now. Not right now.
Probably not right now.
But he always played the straight character.
Yeah.
And she always got the joke. And I thought that was really awesome that there was this piece, obviously, when there was so much misogyny then, that this woman who was so talented because she's so good and she's so funny.
Yeah.
That she always got the big joke. And I was like, I want to try to do something where it's a little bit more female centric, I think. And because men aren't great, right, about writing for women or making opportunities for women.
Yeah.
And so like that was kind of my one big thing. And even the first time that we did it, I was like, let's talk about this and make sure, because obviously I'm not the straight man in it. But the cool thing is the way it turned out with Lindsay getting a lot of attention and a lot of laughs and stuff from the sound effects, which we knew would be funny.
My body.
Right? We knew would be funny. But doing it, we learned a lot about audience stuff, and we all knew that would be funny what she was doing, but I think it caught us all by surprise in just how much they loved that.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was really cool that these two got a lot of attention for being very talented and very funny, which they are. So I felt very proud that we'd actually done something.
Yes.
That way.
Nice.
And I think that that's a good time to plug the live version. So if you're listening to this and you haven't seen us live, you absolutely should.
Where is
it's
it? When is
really
it?
fun. Our next, will this be up?
Oh yeah.
Time?
September 7th.
No, it will. It will.
The next show is in the future.
Yeah.
It's in the future.
September 7th, 2019
Nice.
at 10 p.m. Sketchmageddon, Push Comedy Theater, Norfolk, Virginia.
Nice.
Be like us, take a nap first.
Yep.
And you can come out.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
I always take a nap. So talk about Lindsay. So you do the sound effects, and so I've seen a few different kinds of like radio plays. Do you also do characters, just sound effects? Do you do sound effects as a character? How does this work?
Yeah, most of the time they have no idea what I'm doing behind them, and I think that's why it's
No, we
funny
Not
for
at
the
all.
audience. Well, I think it's fun to watch like from behind. That's how we all start, right? Anyway, so Hillary and Scott get to play with each other, and who I get to play with. I don't know any other way to say it.
Filthiest,
But
cleanest thing I've ever talked
play
about.
What were you about to say? But you
Well,
get to
I'm
play with
behind
yourself.
I
them
get to play-
while
No,
Hillary and
I-
Scott play with each other.
For the live episodes, I play with the audience, and
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like very engaged. It's a very consensual show, you guys.
It's very pornographic. is what we're saying.
It is. I have
Come
a lot
to
of
the
fun
live
with
show.
It is truly probably one of like my most favorite thing I've done on that stage, and like probably the most easiest I've ever done, because obviously like they've done all the writing, and I just show up, and I'm just like, hey, thanks for this script, and I'm just like wah wah, but it's the most, because I love being physical on stage.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'd be fine if you didn't give me one line, but if I could just like jump around and like play with everyone without saying one word, which is literally what I do in this show.
She says one word.
Yeah, I
Give
say,
the people what they want.
which is what we do. This is why we are winning, because we deliver.
Say
Hot and
the
ready
word.
pizza.
Say the word. Say it.
Girth. Oh yeah.
I could hear the like really well.
So you bring up something which is interesting, and I may be a fucking dum-dum, or maybe not, but so Earprov is mostly I set up for improv, and then I was like, oh my god, you guys should come on the show and like do your scripted radio play. And then just today I was thinking, I was like, wait a minute, that shit is not improv.
You didn't realize that at all.
I was like,
I did.
I was like, damn, fuck. But so who does the writing, by the way? You may have mentioned this already.
Scott and I both
Okay.
do.
Yeah.
I think Scott is funnier than me. So I feel like I kind of like write like this bare bones, like this is what's going to happen. And then Scott goes in and puts all the funny stuff
Puts the
in.
jokes in. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
We talk about it a lot though.
We
So
do.
like I'm not great at outlining stuff, and I have to talk stuff out a lot. Otherwise it just doesn't get done. So we've had these awesome conversations where we just kind of do that, what if, or if we're talking about improv, right? So if then what, like what happens? The one that we did last month,
Which was literally written in 2 days.
Yeah.
like, cause
Yeah, we
cause
wrote
we didn't,
one.
yeah, we
I
didn't-
wrote one.
Yeah,
I
we
showed
didn't
them
like
a
it.
rehearsal, and they were like, so we're rewriting it. So.
But we didn't like it. We didn't think it was up to what we had done the month before. And we just went, okay, there's this idea that we want to do, which is these two going, to get their vows renewed or whatever. And like,
Yeah.
we both are obsessed with RP English accents.
Yeah.
Because of
and
The Crown.
The show The Crown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to do an RP accent. Well, I want to do an RP accent.
We actually
we're, like,
fought
fighting over the queen.
who was going to play the queen.
Oh,
And I want to put inappropriate noises to the queen. So it all worked out. It was
Right.
very collaborative. And
But yeah, we outline it, and then we kind of, the first month we both wrote something and
Yeah.
we chunked it together. This one we super outlined it, and Hillary's really good about going through and like tweaking and editing and taking all the chunk out. But then the awesome thing about writing it is we then have to go back, and this last month we did it a lot more with Lindsay, as far as like we went through the script after we had read through it, and and rehearsed it and went, okay, we need a sound here. And like, what does that sound like? And we want a sound here. And like, we had decided that we needed trumpets
Yes.
and nobody plays it. And of course, we're like, Lindsay, do you know how to play a trumpet?
I
No.
started taking
No.
musical lessons.
Right.
Yes.
So we
She knows how to
found
play
like
the flute.
we're online, like trying, like if we can't
Non-sexually.
think of how to find something in the house to make it, like we Google stuff and like, how do you make surely you can't make a trumpet. Fuck it. Yes, you can.
You can.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we made her a trumpet to
That's
play
awesome.
and it was awesome.
Out of a funnel.
Yep.
And
And like a rubber hose.
Rubber hose and an actual trumpet mouth.
I know what you're talking about now.
Thank you, Austin Priest.
Yes. thanks.
I didn't know that's what that fucking was.
Yeah.
Like, that was
Yeah.
crazy. Wow.
I was
Yeah.
out of breath, so it sounded different, a little different in rehearsal. But I'm
Talk about a little background on what you guys normally do as far as like comedy. Talk about anything. Where you got your start, what you're into right now, anything. Who wants to go first? Hillary looks like she's craving talk about comedy.
Okay.
I know
I think
that.
she's on a murder podcast right now.
yeah.
Are you really?
That's what we're
Do you
gonna
know
do.
about
next.
murder?
We're gonna just do this.
I was learning about a new serial killer.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like-
Sorry, Matt. You're the victim.
Oh fuck!
You
Literally-
didn't know you were on a murder podcast.
God damn it! I do when I die though. Oh, keep going.
Let's put the cure on while we're at it.
Yeah.
So, I feel like I'm running through my month. At 10 p.m. on the first Friday of the month, I do a improv.
Oh.
I'm in an improv group with Matt Cole
There
called
you go.
Monocle. It's a mono scene, long form type improv. We do 2 mono scenes, one per half, with Adam Payne, Heather Payne, and James Roach and Matt Cole. And on what else do I do?
forget
I
your
do
Bring out your
In the
calendar if you
future.
want.
If you have something coming up in the
Unusual.
future,
Norfolk Comedy
just- it's
Festival.
in
I
the future.
do Unusual Suspects pretty frequently.
Nice.
I feel like I can say
How
that.
how long you been doing improv or performing?
I've been doing improv for about 4 years, I think.
Nice.
Maybe pushing 5 now. And then performing, I've been acting since I was in the 7th grade.
Nice.
My very first play was Sleepy Hollow.
Ooh,
really good, okay.
You're next, Lindsay. How long you been doing stuff? How'd you start off?
I've just been improvising, quote unquote, for almost 3 years.
Nice.
My little 3-year anniversary is coming up
Yay.
in September.
Oh, we're gonna throw a party.
Before that, no. No. Actually, I wish I didn't say that. So somebody else makes a big deal out of it. Like Sean Devereaux comes over like, really? 3 years and you still suck. Yeah. You
Suck
still
less
suck.
on your
Suck
anniversary.
less on stage.
Any other shows that you're in?
Any Earprov.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We're changing it up a bit, so hopefully I'm still in that.
What is Earprov?
It is the second Friday at 8 at the Push Comedy Theater. What else am I in?
What kind of show is Earprov?
Girlprov is
I can probably guess. But
you want to make an educated guess? Go ahead. I'll help you out.
is it girls?
It's all vagina. And yeah, so that's like so much fun. I tend to not like women. No offense. No. Usually, you know,
This
the
isn't
whole.
Joe Rogan's podcast.
No, when you get a whole group of women together, it's just like, oh my God, we need chocolate and tequila and wine. And that's true too. But these girls are like fun. Like it's like girls that you can like be like, have a dick joke and be like, oh my God, you're so misogynistic. You know, like I grew up with boys and whatever. I'm going to get myself in trouble by talking.
Yeah, you are. Good job, Lindsay. All right,
Sorry.
Scott.
I do not hate women. Let me just get that out of the way.
I don't hate women. Okay.
I'm like really
Any
offended.
bad comments? Okay, thank you for saying. Any bad comments, just shoot them my way. This is all me and on me. Don't hate on them because of
How'd you,
maybe. So,
how do your start, Scott?
I've been doing. I'm pretty much right along there with Hillary. So I think 4 years coming on.
For a little bit longer than him. Let's just clarify.
Right.
7 years.
It's a problem. Why
Had you been performing
why
before
are you
then?
better than me?
I did theater in high school. And I wanted to go to school for theater. I wanted to go to college for theater, but I wasn't allowed because there's no money in it. So I didn't do any theater between when I turned 18 all the way up until I started taking classes at Push, which was almost 4 years ago. So it was like a 10-year, 11, 12-year. I don't even want to think about it. It was a long time.
Did you guys meet in improv classes or no?
I met Hillary. I think we had like 201
Nice.
together.
And then we became friends because of 666, which is also coming up
Yes.
in the
Oh,
future.
Yes, very much coming up.
It
Yes.
is Hillary's first
What it-
directing.
My first
back.
What is 666?
666 is a Halloween themed show that we do at the Push Comedy Theater. It is 6 writers, 6 directors, 6 actors, 6 nights. Should be called the 666 show.
And 6 rehearsals. For
Yeah,
each thing.
6
So
rehearsals
it's like
per show.
6 to the 27th
Yeah.
6
power.
p.m.
Yeah.
or 6 a.m.
And I just realized we're all 666 alum somehow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's
you were my alum. You were my AD last year.
I was Matt Cole's AD
We directed.
last
That's
year.
That's the straight path to directorship, apparently.
apparently.
right. Obviously, I'm gonna
We're actually like a double date right now of 666 director
true.
AD.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
Lindsay was Scott's and I was Matt's last year. And Scott and Matt and me are directing this year.
Here, holy shit!
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
That is awesome.
What are your hopes for this year for directing? Anybody can answer this one.
I don't know. I did the first year I AD'd with Alba Woolard, which was amazing. And we did a scary piece, which was awesome because she doesn't like scary stuff and I don't like scary stuff. So you have these two people that are like, I don't like scary things. I want to make something scary. And it was so awesome because it was really freaky.
Yeah.
Smile Stealer, I think is what it was called.
Oh, that's
That's
right.
so
Yep.
scary.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that was awesome. And then last year we got a funny piece.
Yeah.
We tried to make as dark and macabre as we could, but it was funny. So I don't know. Like I'm really excited about seeing the material. Like I would love to go slapstick a little bit, but I also just want to do something really dark. It was awesome at the end of the Smile Stealer, just like the
God, that was
silence
so
of the
good.
audience of
Oh
just
my
going,
God.
what the fuck just happened? And go,
That's how you know it's good.
oh my God, you guys, we made these people freak out.
Torn.
That's awesome.
And like Hillary said earlier, is the writing is actually taken from locally around Hampton Roads.
Original writing.
I mean, that's incredible, an amount of talent. And are you doing something for it this year as well, Lindsay? I don't want to.
I want to assistant direct again.
Have you thought about auditioning for it? Because the auditions are also local actors.
I've thought about Lindsay auditioning for 666. I'm glad you have.
Yeah. So you're going to do
You
that.
should.
It's coming out on the podcast right
I
now.
have a
Good.
We're making news in the
Yep.
future.
I mean, Matt Cole has been in 666 twice.
Oh, it's
I've
like
been
peer-
in
666
666.
peer pressure.
Hillary's been
Yeah.
in 666.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't
how much
sit with us if you're not in the 666.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of
that's
us.
fine. I'm
one
totally
of
fine
us.
getting coffees and making sounds in the background.
Well, welcome to the show. Thank you for letting me record you on stage. I really want to do an improvised version of what you do scripted.
We
How
have
feasible?
talked about it.
Yeah.
We've talked about it. That was, we had that conversation, I think, together the second month after writing it. And we're like, this would be actually really cool
And
to
next time
try to improvise
we're at Matt
this.
Cole's apartment.
Yeah.
We're going to do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
If we can
absolutely.
pull it off,
Absolutely.
it would be
I
really
think,
cool.
like,
Kind of terrified.
After we do the show next month, because we talked, like, it's just gotten, because we're all having so much fun with it, but we had this weird conversation last night, or what I think is weird, and we're like, we haven't cataloged our sound effects yet. I don't remember where the knife sound came from. Well, I don't either. Well, we need to write that down on like a Google document so we
You're
can put it
getting
together.
organized.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
That's awesome.
Yeah.
like I think that's also the thing is trying to
becoming
figure out like what Lindsay needs to have to try to make noises of stuff.
Probably
use my body.
talent. I don't know.
Oh my god, am I across from Sean Devereaux? I don't know.
You get
look
talent
a lot
from
alike.
being in the 666 project. That's where
So
I feel like we've mentioned Sean twice and we haven't mentioned Brad, and I think he
Yeah.
might get upset.
Sean and Brad, they're the
they
owners of the
listening
Push
to
Comedy
this?
Theater. They say they do. I don't know if I believe them or not,
I
but
don't.
hey, Sean, hey, Brad.
I
They're
like Sean better.
wow.
that's very deep.
Now
That's very
we'll really see if
19
they
minutes.
listen.
19 minutes and
We
30
will see
seconds
if they
in.
listen. I will hear about that.
I miss Alba. So
Oh, anything else you want to bury?
I love Ed Carden though. Ed Carden.
Yeah, and Adam Payne. Yeah. Oh my God. Everyone is better than Brad.
Those are all the
All of
pushers.
them.
All right. So thank you for being on the show. What can we expect from your next one? So the first one, you introduce your characters very nicely in Act 1 or Episode 1, I guess. Episode 2, you took them on a royal wedding. Episode 3, what can briefly, without giving anything away, or what can we?
We
expect?
want to try to go
Please say it.
zany. This
Like
one.
to the moon or under the sea.
Yeah, like we want to go.
characters.
Yeah, we started with a murder. We started with
maybe
a
a
murder
little-
because Hillary's obsessed with murder, and I was like, let's do
I
it.
feel like we're just gonna
Yeah.
become a murderer.
And last month we went a little bit
Radio.
extra, and like the awesome conversation that we were having is obviously like we can do anything.
Anything,
Like, it doesn't
yeah.
have to be based
Because
in
no one can see it.
right.
So we can do, well, except
Yeah.
for, the 99 people in the audience.
Right.
Right.
And it's
sold out crowd.
So yeah, so because we're trying to do something different every
Yeah.
month with it while we're
Cool.
playing with it, and we
Yeah.
really want to go kind of like, what the fuck is happening right
Yes.
now?
Well, that is the reaction we need.
Okay.
We ordered
Give us a Yelp review. Like,
some
what?
stuff on
We
Amazon
did order
last
some
night.
stuff, yeah. And we're also like building like a weird Faces for Radio universe thing.
Oh,
Like
nice.
we have characters that keep coming back, and like like oddly enough, like they have a son together, and like we've talked about like one of the ones I'm
that.
working on. I'm like, what would Archie be doing in 2019? And what is it? Like we can do anything. And
On
like
Girl
Hillary got us all into the the Kate McKinnon thing.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Heads will roll.
that.
Heads
Yeah.
will roll.
Is that
And
her
it's-
podcast?
No, it's a radio play on Audible.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And like it's batshit crazy, and they
Yeah.
do anything. Now I hate it.
I love it.
But
I think it's great.
I
But
cannot
like one
stand
of them
her.
is a bird,
Yeah.
like a
Like a
person
bird?
that's actually a bird. And
Oh.
so like
It's just
when I heard
insane.
that, I was like, oh my God, we could be a bird. Like,
That's the genius. Oh my god. Let's be a bird.
we could be a bird.
But then the second part of that conversation is, Lindsay, can you make a bird sound?
yeah.
What does your bird sound like?
Yeah.
And go.
Give me 2 seconds.
Bird.
Call.
Oh, that's good. All right.
Do that.
We had that
did
one.
have a bird
Yeah,
sound.
we did. We
Yeah,
had
had a bird
doves.
sound.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Can you do dove? Yeah, I
I
can
think
do a
all
dove.
three of us did it.
Can you
Do you
play a
want an
trumpet?
English dove?
No. Well, you're going to have to learn how to play a trumpet.
Matt Colt.
Are you trying to get hired?
Oh
Are you
my
trying to
God.
take my position?
Are you trying to take Lindsay's spot?
I am.
Wow.
We could have a revolving sound
You've
person.
been usurped.
I cannot take the place.
No,
of
no.
any one of you. You guys are very talented. Thank you for being on the show, and thank you for allowing me to record you. I can't wait to do the improvised version of Faces for Radio.
coming.
But check out Faces for Radio at Sketchmageddon, the first Saturday of the month, right at 10 p.m. Is that right? At the Push Comedy Theater in Norfolk, Virginia. Play us out. Give it to me right in the ear!
And now, the Faces for Radio show presented to you by The Wiener Hole. Nothing makes you feel like a winner like a whole lot of wiener. The Faces for Radio program is filmed in front of a live studio audience and starring Mr. Scott Rose, Miss Hillary Stallings, and featuring the sounds of Miss Lindsay Horn. And now, The Wiener Hole proudly presents Faces for Radio, A Murder on Granby Street.
Rose residence. This is Mrs. Rose speaking.
Good afternoon, Hillary. It's Margaret. I called to see how Scott's business dinner with his client went.
Why, yes, it was a lovely dinner party. I'm eating some of the leftover Jell-O salad now. I'm also terribly excited about this whole wiener casserole I'm baking. Nothing smells as good as a cooked and baked wiener. And you know Scott, why he could sell an igloo to one of those Eskimo people. I'm a lucky gal.
You sure are. I sure wish my bill would entertain more.
You know, Margaret. Oh, my gracious.
Hillary, are you there? Is it something wrong with the Jell-O salad?
Oh, I wish it were. No, I'm not sure I can even say. It's just that... Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Oh, good Lord. What's happening over there, Hillary?
Well, I was just looking out my kitchen window, and it's my neighbor, Mr. Studebaker. He's being attacked.
Oh, my.
Yes, and there's another man behind him. I can see their shadows through the curtains.
Oh, what is it? What do you see?
The attacker is behind Mr. Studebaker. Oh, he has his hands around his neck.
Oh, my.
Why, he's bumping Mr. Studebaker from behind as he chokes him.
Bumping, you say?
Why, yes, he's violently ramming him from behind. Oh, no. Oh, my.
Oh, what now, Hillary?
Now, he slipped a mask over Mr. Studebaker's face and is now whipping him with a riding crop?
Oh, my goodness, a mask and a riding crop, you say? What could ever cause a man to whip another man in a frenzy while the other man wears a mask?
Oh, I just don't know, Margaret. It's awful. It's as if I can hear Mr. Studebaker grunting in pain. It's terrible. Oh, no.
Oh, there can't be more, Hillary.
Oh, but there is. The attacker has now bent Mr. Studebaker over. He's grasped his hips, and he is slamming his entire body weight into Mr. Studebaker. It's just... Oh, no, what...
Oh, what is it, Hillary?
Oh, it appears he is stabbing him over and over and over again with a very thick yet short knife that is just below his waist.
Oh, how awful.
Yes, the shape of it looks vaguely familiar, but I can't place it. Oh, he's slowing down the stabbing. Oh, heavens!
Oh, my!
Yes, and, it appears that there's another man behind him. I can see their shadows through the curtains.
Oh, what is it? What do you see, Hillary?
The attacker is behind Mr. Studebaker.
Oh.
And he has his hands around his neck while he's bumping him from behind as he chokes him.
Bumping, you say?
Why, yes, he's violently ramming him from behind. Oh, no!
Oh,
my!
What is it now, Hillary? What is it?
Now, he's slipped a mask over Mr. Studebaker's face, and he's now whipping him with what appears to be a riding crop?
Oh, my goodness, a mask and a riding crop. What could ever possess one man to whip another man in a frenzy while the other man wears a mask?
Oh, I just don't know, Margaret. It's awful. It's as if I can hear Mr. Studebaker grunting in pain. It's terrible.
Oh, there can't possibly be more.
But there is. The attacker has now bent Mr. Studebaker over. He's grasped his hips and he's just slamming his entire body weight into Mr. Studebaker.
Oh, my.
Now,
Go on, Hillary. What is it? What do you see?
he's stabbing Mr. Studebaker over and over again with a very thick yet short knife that is just below his waist.
Oh, how
but I can't place it. Oh, he's slowing down the stabbing. Oh, heavens! Oh, my goodness, he's thrust the knife one last time.
Oh, my.
Oh! Mr. Studebaker has fallen to the floor. The attacker is out of breath. Oh, Mr. Studebaker. Oh, my God, Margaret. I think I've just witnessed a murder.
Dum, dum, dum.
Oh, how awful.
Now, the attacker appears to be putting something on that looks like pants. And he's leaving. Oh, no.
Oh, what will you do while you say this is awful?
Margaret.
A murder.
Dum, dum, dum. Margaret. I must call the police. Mr. Studebaker needs my help.
You'll call me back.
Yes, of course. I'll call you later.
Oh.
Hello? Police? Yes. My address is 763 Granby Street. And please hurry. I've just witnessed a murder.
Mama.
Hey, honey, I'm home. What's for dinner? I feel like I've been grinding away all afternoon. Ding, 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 ding. This first act of A Murder on Granby Street has been presented to you by the Wiener Hole.
Got a tickle in your tummy and need something yummy. Wiener hole.
Wiener hole.
Wiener hole.
Wiener hole.
Got a taste for something wet. Friends, don't you forget the wiener hole.
Wiener hole.
Push Comedy Theater, wiener hole. Before you swallow, get your mouth wet.
And now, back to A Murder on Granby Street.
Oh, Scott, I'm so glad you're home. I think I've just witnessed a murder.
Dum, dum, dum.
A murder on Granby Street? Impossible. What could you possibly be overacting to now, Hillary? Just come over here, tell Daddy what's wrong.
Oh, Scott, hold me. I'm so scared. My, you're all sweaty and slippery. You really have been grinding away today, haven't you?
All right, Hillary, what is it?
Oh, it's Mr. Studebaker. He's been murdered.
Dum, dum, dum.
Oh, Hillary.
Honest, I saw it. Attacker murdered him.
Dum, dum, dum.
You know how confused you get, Hillary.
It's true. I know what I saw. I was on the phone with Margaret Burmeister, and I saw someone attack Mr. Studebaker.
Now, what have I told you about spying on the neighbors? It's just not right.
I know, but I couldn't help myself. I saw a man attacking Mr. Studebaker.
How did you know he was an attacker? Maybe he was just a visitor.
Well, Scott, would you have a visitor who takes you from behind, who presses his body into yours while he chokes you?
Well, Hillary, I don't think that's topical right now.
Well, yes, I suppose you're right. But he put a mask over Mr. Studebaker's face and just really started giving it to him from the back. Can you even imagine?
Well, yes, I can imagine
And then
that,
he stabbed him with a knife, a short knife, perhaps 6 inches long, and it had some girth to it.
I'm sorry, did you say
Girth.
Yes. It was
Girth.
E. And vaguely familiar. It was sitting just below his waistline.
Oh, a knife. Yes, a knife. Mm-hmm. Okay, go on.
Well then, The attacker penetrated Mr. Studebaker with the knife from behind. He was just slapping his whole body into the backside of Mr. Studebaker forcefully. It was a vigorous pumping of the knife.
Go on.
Just
Go on.
pumping and pumping and pumping the knife in and out. He was pushing it in so deep, Scott.
Yes, deep, I see. I mean, you saw no faces, right? No faces at all.
No faces, no. Only shadows. And the vaguely familiar E knife.
Right.
Strangely familiar, the length and girth of it. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't put my finger on it.
Yes, and I'd rather you didn't most of the time.
What?
Nothing, never mind. What did you see next?
Well, Mr. Studebaker, he just fell right over. And then that hateful attacker, he pulled up his pants and simply walked out. He was clearly heaving and out of breath. Much like you were when you just got home.
Me, you said?
Yes, out of breath from all that grinding that you mentioned.
Oh, yes, grinding. Yes, I was grinding. Grinding away all afternoon.
Yes. So I called the police.
The police?
Oh, that must be them now.
Thank you for joining us for the second half of The Wiener Hole. And now this message brought to you by The Wiener Hole.
Margaret?
Yes, Hillary.
Most people think that wieners are only good for one thing, eating.
What else are they good for, Hillary?
Licking. Wiener hole popsicles. How many licks does it take to get to the center of your wiener?
And now, the exciting conclusion to Faces for Radio, a murder on Granby Street.
My, they do knock forcefully, don't they? Shall I get the door?
I'll answer it, Hillary. What did you tell them?
Scott is coming. I know how you like to announce it.
Well, yes, it does just seem polite. But what did you tell them?
Well, I told them that Mr. Studebaker had been violated from behind, and they went to his house straight away.
You told the police he had been violated from behind?
Yes, by that E knife. Oh, I hope he's okay. And I hope that they've caught that dastardly murderer.
This is the authorities. Open this door right away or we're gonna ram it.
Oh, no, more ramming?
I'll get it before they ram us. Why, yes, officers, how may we assist you?
Mr. Rose, we've just come from Mr. Studebaker's home and we've got some questions.
Why, yes, officers, I understand my wife has reported a crime.
Yes, Mr. Rose. Your wife called in an attack on our dispatch and reported it as queer. They called it quite queer.
Queer?
Yes, Mr. Rose, quite queer.
Mommy, Daddy, who's queer?
Oh, God, Archie, no one is queer. Go do your homework.
Based on our investigation, it certainly seems as if someone is queer. Mr. and Mrs. Rose. Yes, officers, it was queer everywhere, all over Mr. Studebaker's bedroom. Queer! What does it mean, Mommy?
Archie, go do your homework. No one here is queer. Focus on your studies,
Hillary, stop saying queer.
Oh, Scott, you know your son. He's as curious as you are. Archie? Archie? Queer means unusual. Strange, you see.
Yeah, that's one way to define it. Now run along, son, as your father has asked.
Sir, yes, sir.
Why, yes, Mr. and Mrs. Rose. This type of deviant behavior is certainly not a topic for children. Officer Milbank, could you please update Mr. and Mrs. Rose on Mr. Studebaker?
Thank you, Officer Brown. I sure will.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm just dying to know.
I am also slightly interested, officers.
Yes, you should be, Mr. Rose.
Oh, my.
Well, Roses, Mr. Studebaker is perfectly fine. Well, he may have thrown his back out a touch from his activities this afternoon, but otherwise he's fine.
How does one survive such vigorous and prolonged penetration?
Some men can handle a little more than others, Hillary.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yes, Mr. Rose, some men seem to be able to handle quite a bit.
Well, they must be. Why, he was choked and gagged and almost asphyxiated with that mask. And then he was bent over and just pounded incessantly with that E object. I just knew he must have been finished off.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, and just think of the mess it must have made. Liquids all over the carpet and furniture.
And the walls, man. Don't forget the walls.
Yes, when we arrived, Mr. Studebaker was just covered in fluids.
Oh, that poor man. But he's okay?
Yes, ma'am, he's quite alive.
And have you located a suspect? Have you found your perp? Do you have any leads?
Oh, yes, we have quite a sizable lead.
All right, officers, enough talk of sizes and girth.
Indeed. We do need to have a chat with you, Mr. Rose. I'm sure you understand.
Oh my, are we in danger?
Oh, Hillary, everything is fine. This day was going to come eventually. Just know that I always loved you in my very own special way.
Oh, you silly man. I know you love me. Oh, there's the Wiener Hole hot dogs. I know you've always loved something warm and meaty, too.
Yes, it seems he has.
All right, officers, where shall we do this?
This way, Mr. Rose. Let's step outside for a bit so we can have some privacy.
Be safe, boys. If you work up an appetite, there's plenty of meat here for all of you.
Oh, we're fully aware of that, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. Studebaker said you Roses have just the right amount of meat.
Oh, that Mr. Studebaker, he is such a nice man. He does always gladly receive when Scott offers him some.
Yes, he does. Officers, let's go. Let's get this over with.
Rose residence, this is Mrs. Rose speaking.
It's Margaret. My, what an exciting day you must have had.
Oh, Margaret, it seems Mr. Studebaker survived, but I do hope they find that attacker. Penetration can be such a messy business.
Oh, thank heavens.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, no.
It's Mr. Studebaker. Why, he's being attacked again.
Oh, it can't possibly be.
Oh, miss that poor Mr. Studebaker. There are 3 attackers now.
Oh, how awful.
Oh, Margaret, they are all stabbing him from behind. Oh, my.
Is that even possible?
They're all stabbing him from behind, one at a time with their
Girth.
knives. They're going to tear him apart.
Mommy, is 3 men taking 1 man from behind all at one time and tearing him apart the definition of queer?
Why, yes, Archie. I suppose it is sometimes.
Wah, wah, wah. Tune in next week to hear Hillary say, bananas are yellow.
And that was Faces for Radio's debut at the Push Comedy Theater in Norfolk, Virginia during Sketchmageddon on July 6th in 2019. Some of you astute listeners may realize that the first part was recorded in my studio, and then the second part was recorded with a live audience. That's simply because I forgot to hit the record button. But we managed to get it all done. And now coming up is their second show, also at the Push Comedy Theater in August.
And now, the Faces for Radio show presented to you by the Wiener Hole. Nothing makes you feel like a winner like a whole lot of wiener. The Faces for Radio program is filmed in front of a live studio audience and stars Miss Hillary Starlings, Mr. Scott Rose, featuring the sounds of Miss Lindsay Horn, and our special guest this evening, Mr. Andy Poindexter. And now, the Wiener Hole proudly presents Faces for Radio, a royal engagement.
This is your captain speaking. Thank you for flying Wiener Airways. We will be departing for London shortly, and we're pleased to have you aboard. As you know, your on-flight meal will be prepared from the Wiener Hole. Stewardesses, please prepare the cabin for takeoff.
Oh, Scott, I'm just so excited that we chose to renew our wedding vows in London.
You know how much I love Queens, honey.
And those funny accents they have. When we say chips, we actually mean French fries.
Hello, I'll be your stewardess for your flight. Can I offer you a cocktail or a cigarette? I'd love a cocktail. I'll have champagne.
I'll have the same. Cheers. I have a surprise for you. I changed the location of our vow renewal ceremony to Westminster Abbey, where the royal family gets married.
Oh my God. Oh no. But I mailed the invitations to Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, and I'll have to let them know that we changed the location.
Oh, Hillary, the Queen can't possibly show up to our vow renewal.
Whatever. But it would be really rude if I didn't invite her. And now, I have a surprise for you. Mr. Liberace himself will be playing in London when we arrive, and I got us tickets to see his show. I know how much you love Mr. Liberace from television.
Yes, there's just something about him that I can relate to.
Well, you do both have a very close relationship with your mothers. It's not unusual at all.
Ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts and hang on to your cocktails and prepare for takeoff.
The first act of a royal engagement has been presented to you by the Wiener Hole.
My hot dog has a first name, it's W-E-I-N-E-R. My hot dog has a second name, it's...
Oh.
I love to eat wieners every day, and if you ask me why, I'll say... The wiener hole is the best for H-O-T-W-O-G-S.
And now, back to our royal engagement.
Tickets, please. Welcome to the Royal Opera House. I hope you enjoy Mr. Liberace. Here you go. My, you're front row. Because you're so close, you might have to...
Cock.
Your head to the side slightly to see.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yes, sir. You do seem to be very excited. Would you like a program to hide your excitement? Oh, like a fan to cool down. Yes, we'll take 2, please. Thank you. Next, tickets, please. Oh, Scott, the lights are flashing. Let's take our seats.
Ladies and gentlemen, the glitter man, Mr. Showmanship himself, Liberace.
Hi, I'm Liberace. Have you ever noticed that every generation has a particular kind of music they consider all their own? Well, you know now, like rock and roll. But I remember when I was a teenager, we had kind of a crazy thing going for us, too. I wonder how many of you remember the boogie-woogie craze. Hear that again, don't you? Hey! Wow, aren't you an adorable couple there in the front row?
Oh, Mr. Liberace, you're so wonderful.
Well, my mother always told me that. Tell me, sir, did your mother ever tell you you were wonderful? Oh, I have a very close relationship with my mother, yes. Oh, I think you've just earned a trip to my dressing room this evening.
Oh, my goodness, Scott, we are so lucky.
Oh, darling, no, this pianist can only handle one visitor at a time. You can wait outside, but I promise it won't take very long. We now join Hillary and Scott later on in the evening.
You know, I just don't understand how a sensitive and artistic man like Mr. Liberace just doesn't have a wife yet.
Well, he told me that a pianist shouldn't be tied down to just one person.
Such a sensitive pianist.
You have no idea. The second act of A Royal Engagement has been presented to you by the Wiener Hole.
Pip, pip, cheerio. Did you hear that the Wiener Hole sells chips?
Do you mean chips like potato crisp or chips like French fries, like we English people like to say?
Chips like crisps, and you can pretend that your wiener is fish. So basically, the Wiener Hole has fish and chips.
Wiener Hole wieners. Dream big. And now, the exciting conclusion to Faces for Radio, a royal engagement.
Burmeister residence, this is Margaret speaking.
Margaret, it's Hillary. I'm calling from jolly old England.
Oh, my.
We're here at Westminster Abbey, and I'm getting dressed for the ceremony. I just wanted to say thank you so much for that lovely Wienerhole gift basket that you sent to the hotel before we renew our vows.
Oh, I just knew you'd like a Wienerhole gift basket before the big day.
And you know, Scott has such a large appetite after he got into Mr. Liberace's pianist room.
Oh, Hillary, I think we must have a bad connection. I thought you said penis.
Yes, pianist.
Penis?
Pianist. Oh, that must be the officiant. I have to go. Cheerio, Margaret.
Pardon me, Mum. Did you invite Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth?
Well, of course. And also Prince Philip.
How American of you. Well, Miss Rose, may I present to you Elizabeth II, the grace of God of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland and her other realms and territories, the Queen, head of the Commonwealth, defender of the faith.
Oh my, no.
Your Majesty, thank you so much for coming. We are royally thrilled that you could make our vow renewals.
Oh, royalty pun. How clever. How American of you.
Why, thank you.
Yes, now, no member of the British royal family has been invited to anything regarding the American Norfolk since the American Revolution, and I was simply touched to be just invited.
Well, my husband just kept saying that he couldn't wait to meet some queens when we got to England.
Yes, I've met your husband already, and I'm quite sure you've misunderstood his meaning. However, we all understand that sometimes a marriage is a necessity to consolidate power and build empires. Isn't that right, Philip, husband of mine?
I wasn't paying attention, Your Majesty. I didn't realize you'd let me speak today.
You may speak, Philip, but you may not have an opinion. And stop ogling that woman, Philip.
Ew, stop staring at the American woman with the gay husband. Yes, Your Majesty, right away, Your Majesty.
Silence. Now, Hillary, as head of the Church of England, I must inform you that you may not renew your vows in Westminster today.
But Your Majesty, we flew all the way from America.
You were not married in the Church of England, so you may not renew your vows here.
Oh, no.
However, in gratitude of your kind invitation, I grant you the right to be married here today in the Church of England.
But I haven't planned for a full wedding. Mr. Officiant?
Ma'am, Her Majesty made all of the arrangements this morning. You are to have a full royal wedding.
I hope you're not allergic to doves, Hillary, or bothered by being shite on by them.
Philip.
What's wrong, Liz? You've been shiting on me for years.
You're a wretched man. Speak again, Philip, and I'll remind everyone you come from a family of Nazis. Now, and I will also put on your mouth gag.
No, you wouldn't.
I would. Now, Hillary, we have a horse-drawn carriage waiting for you.
Oh, wow, look at the crowds. There are so many dogs.
Now,
here we go.
Wave to the crowds as if you're better than them. Yes, just like that. Even though you are so inbred, you can barely put a rational thought together. Yes. Excellent. Now, make sure to look entirely dead in your eyes.
Just look at my eyes, Hillary. My soul died the minute I married Her Majesty.
Nazi!
Corgi fucker! My, what cute pet names you have for each other. Her Majesty certainly treats me like a dog.
Oh no, I let the dogs walk in front of me, Philip. Officiant, bring me Philip's mouth gag right away.
You wouldn't dare.
I would.
Oh,
Yes,
no.
Your Majesty, right away.
Philip,
No,
come here.
I'm not putting it
Come
on.
here, Philip.
No, absolutely
Open your mouth,
not.
Philip.
No,
Open your mouth.
No.
Open your mouth.
No.
Put it in.
I once saw a man with one of those ball-shaped gags through my kitchen window.
How kinky. Now, proceed. Let out the royal doves.
Oh, how pretty.
Release the royal corgis.
There they are again. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth and her peasantry, Hillary Rose.
Move along now, Hillary. To the altar you go. Spit spot.
Oh, I'm just so excited.
Oh, Hillary, you look so beautiful. Can you believe we're getting a royal wedding and Queen Elizabeth is your maid of honor and Prince Philip is my best man?
Oh, it just seems so unbelievable.
Yes. Shut your pie hole, Philip. The bishop is starting the process.
Marriage. Marriage is what brings us together today. And love, true love, will follow you forever and ever. Have you the ring?
Yes, here it is.
That was one of Mr. Liberace's rings.
Well, he said it was only fair since I happen to be such an accomplished pianist.
An American pianist? In London. It's like a fairy tale.
You're a filthy pig, Philip, and I hate you.
knows a reason why these two persons may not lawfully marry to declare it now.
I object. Yes, I see it's Liberace, Philip. I'm not as blind as you are useless.
But Mr. Liberace, why would you object?
Oh, this is the moment I've been waiting for my entire life. I had to dare a little bit. Well, who am I kidding? I had to dare a lot. Don't wear one ring, wear 5 or 6. People ask me how I can play the piano with all these rings, and I say, very well, thank you very much.
I don't understand.
I object that you don't have enough jewelry, woman. Have some of mine.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, no. Don't worry, Scott. I have a special ring you can wear later tonight. It's just the right size for your
Girth.
Release the royal
Cox.
Oh, what pretty.
Cock.
This pianist just loves beautiful.
Cock.
In the presence of God and before this congregation, I therefore proclaim Scott and Hillary, husband and wife.
Peace be with you, and also with you.
Sound the royal train. Initiate changing of the guard. Prepare the guns for the royal gun salute.
You may kiss dub wide.
Do I have to?
Oh, Scott, kiss me, you fool.
Sometimes my mother and I like to watch. Fine. Kiss me, Hillary. Boogie woogie. Quite right, Philip, quite right. Fire the royal cannons. Who goes there?
The Americans have arrived. They are taking back Britain and attacking Westminster Abbey.
Oh, Winston. Mr. Churchill, it's not the Americans attacking, they're simply having a wedding.
We shall go on to the end. We shall fight in France.
Winston.
We shall defend our island.
Prime
We
Minister.
shall fight on the beaches.
Mr. Churchill.
We shall fight on the landing grounds.
Prime Minister.
We shall fight in the fields and in the streets.
Winston
We
Churchill.
shall fight in the hills.
The Americans are not invading, Mr. Churchill. Go home, you're drunk.
Who are you? I may be drunk, miss, but in the morning I will be sober, and you will still be ugly.
Tune in next week to hear Hillary say...
That's not mayonnaise.
All right, that's it for Earprov. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next month.